Why, hello, early gang. That is, if YouTube wants to connect. Are we doing all right there, YouTube? Are we live on YouTube? It says it's still sending. It says we're still connecting. Comment if you're getting any life on the YouTube end. You said daddy? Tell me that's not what y'all are calling Mochi. Mochi, are these people's daddy? Good lord. Chonky. Yeah, we did start super early. It's just Mochi was here, and I didn't know if we would be able to get any pet tags if I waited 10 minutes. So I had to do what any true noble hero would, and that's get myself absolutely covered in white hair before I'm on camera. I mean, look at this guy. I don't think he liked that. He is chilling though. No. Are we done now? I should really keep a lint roller in my office, guys. Yeah, actually, I got here a little earlier and I saw that the first chats were people who were like, how much we want to bet? There's no sound. And I was like, now I'm double turning on my sound, you motherfuckers. Let me get a lint roller, though. I'm going to put it on Miles' cam. We got the animal cam. We got the animal cam, people. Oh, look at that. Oh, the star of the show here. Do you want to stay here and entertain the people while I get a lint roller? Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just going to keep this in the office once I grab it. You want to go out? 2 miles? Alrighty. Well, we might just hear a bark in a few minutes then. I let Miles out, so I'm gonna be going away in like 10 minutes anyway. But what up, early gang? You get to hang out with me while I lint roll all that mochi off of myself. Oh man, I'll probably be picking it off my lips too. Pros and cons of having a gigantic fluffy white cat. Where doggo gone? We've got the important things in life here. Anyway, welcome or welcome back to another Dadvocate stream, a place where we talk about relationships, dating, breakups, marriage, divorce, parenting, co-parenting. We make fun of cheaters, we call out double standards, and we cover all kinds of other bungholery and buffoonery in between. This is an audio-only friendly live stream as well. Similar to be enjoyed like a podcast, we will be reacting to some visual things, but I will do my best to verbally describe everything going on. So you don't have to stare at your screen the whole time. You can go walk your dogs or lift weights at the gym or just drive. I would like to start by thanking our sponsors of the stream. You, every single one of you who hits like on the live right now, before we even get really into it, you know you want to anyway, and an extra special thanks to YouTube members and Patreon members, of whom already just got an early access drop yesterday, already in the tank. You're going to get another early access drop the second this stream ends. You're going to have so much early access to extra Dadvocate content never before seen, and not even clipped up from lives, just recorded on my own, edited by myself. Original productions. You also get members only lives. We're going to be doing another one next week, and all kinds of other stuff like the Dadvocate origin story. So if you feel like joining, the Patreon right now has a back to school sale of 25% off with code tripod. Hey, we are starting off the day with some things. What's going on here? JJA has joined the fray. So has Golems and Goblins. Awesome. Yeah, enjoy your access once you get out of here. I've been like filming like a monster lately. So I'm going to have a lot of stuff for you. It's going to be free for all of you guys eventually. But if you can't wait, you're like, I need my dad fix, you can get it. You can get it a little early if you want it. Jordan Peterson, no, not that one, with the first super chat of the day. Thank you, Jordan Peterson. By the way, this is a live stream, so feel free to take advantage of the chat. Feel free to take advantage of super chats if you really, really want to get my attention. But if you're not watching this live and you are in the future, you can also tap forward 30 seconds to skip ahead of stuff too. All kinds of fun stuff you can do. Jordan, goddamn, it says, did someone say members? It gets like that sometimes around here, all right? And Jordan Peterson, I'm assuming to get me to forgive him for his immediate "that's what she said" just off the rip immediately into the stream, has gifted 5 memberships. Everyone say thank you, Jordan. Yay! I think that's about it as far as general housekeeping goes. I kind of got right into it. A lot of times if I'm doing a stream where I'm like, hey, if you don't want to watch all of this, this is one I anticipate will cut up for later, I would tell you. But this one, I'm not too sure I'll be cutting this up. We're doing a deep dive today, so this is going to be the way to experience this, I think. Golems and Goblins says, no skipping, only whole stream. 2 times speed is okay. Does that actually help my metrics or whatever? Maybe I shouldn't be encouraging people to skip. Maybe I'm being a naughty YouTuber. What else is new? All right, so let's get right into today's theme of the stream. We've covered many partner shamers on this channel. Partner shaming being the act of secretly recording either something your spouse is doing wrong or yourself talking about something that your spouse did wrong. Then posting it online, assumedly without their knowledge, for the entire world to judge it. This is usually followed by a just kidding, we're fine video. You know, the usual, like, we are just joking. You guys are the ones who took this way too far. And one of the trends that we've seen with this is that there's really no winning to partner shaming unless you divorce the person. That's the way it always goes, is once you start getting someone, especially the entire internet, to shame your spouse for whatever their poor behavior was, their mistake, their negligence, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. People are going to hate your spouse. Even if you try to explain it away, even if you try to tell people like, no, they're really, really a good guy, they're going to hate him. And then, assuming you don't divorce them, which is usually the case, most of these partner shamers would like their relationship to just go on as usual, as though they didn't publicly ridicule them to potentially millions of people. If you don't divorce them, they will hate you next. They will start ridiculing you. They will just hate you both. The only way to win in the public favor is to divorce your spouse. So, as you can imagine, it's just not the best thing to do. And there's such a wide scale of partner shaming too. There are ones who I don't think they quite do it on purpose. I think they did intend it to be more lighthearted than it ended up being. Those are the ones where I have a lot more sympathy for them. But then there are the partner shamers who absolutely intended to throw their spouse under the bus. They wanted that validation. They wanted their spouse to get dragged. So those are the ones that I don't feel a ton of sympathy for. Then you have partner shamers along all these different spectrums who, once you dive a little deeper, you find out that maybe partner shaming isn't even their only red flag. It might not even be the worst thing about what's going on in the situation. It might just be a symptom of a larger disease. So today we are going to go on a bit of a deep dive. I'm going to take you guys on the same journey that I ended up going down, with what starts as your pretty run-of-the-mill partner shaming, and then it escalates into what might be one of the most red flag filled unions we have ever gotten a glimpse of online. Or maybe I'm greatly exaggerating. I'll let you guys decide. Let me catch up on some of these chats and events here. What do we got going on? I know Jordan Peterson gifted some memberships. And then, oh, is it just still going with the receiving memberships? No, we also had Chris Dale join. Chris Dale, welcome to the party. Sam says, what am I about to be exposed to? That's the question you're going to have to just ask yourself anytime you watch a Dadvocate stream. I try to warn you with the whole buffoonery and bungholery thing, but you don't listen to me. You just keep listening to me, okay? Shadow God, so good to see you. If you talk about Jassy the tiger and the fish, I swear to God. Good morning, Lauren, although I will be listening. I took the day off to pack for my move on Saturday. I should be getting my key today, which I'm excited for. Still a lot of work to do until I move. Oh, man. You know what you should do while you're packing? You should watch this cool anime that I've heard about. I'm just teasing you. Moving sucks, though. God, good luck with that. I hate moving. If there's one thing that I really hate doing in this world, it's moving. I would like to do as little of it as I ever have to do again. I'm not sure if I'm in, like, my final dream home right now, but maybe, because I hate moving so much. Maybe. Oh, nice. Yeah, Samantha, I noticed you just joined the new higher tier of patronage, by the way. We just dropped this one. I did find out that I missed a step in getting it approved by YouTube, which is why after I first tried to announce it, no one could find it for a couple days, but it's up now. My perk was approved. No, you're not late, Lacey. Actually, welcome. We were just about to get into a partner shamer who may or may not have a few extra red flags. Come along on this deep dive with me. This is the one where it all begins. Let me scoot this over. I thought I had properly formatted this prior, but I guess not. And you guys know me. I'm the formatting queen. It's gotta look good. It's gotta look good. I work hard for you guys. What can I say? Okay. This one's a carousel of images. It's not a photo, so I will describe what we're seeing on screen, all of you audio-only folks. We have a really cute baby, and the text overlay reads, "Signs that your husband got the baby ready." So I don't think that this is where it starts. There's our Miles bark. BRB. Welcome, Lacey, to the higher membership. Okay. I'm flip-flopping these heels. All right. Sorry for the suspenseful pause before we get into it. So I will say, kind of off the jump, I don't know if you guys knew immediately that this was not going to be like a round of compliments for her old man over here. But as soon as I saw this, I knew this guy was in for it. One of the other popular trends on social media was how I dress the baby versus how my husband dresses the baby. And I will admit that meme trend tended to be pretty funny just because, of course, women are the more detail-oriented, fashion-coded of the sexes. Men, they really just dress the kid in, like, is it weather appropriate? Are the sensitive bits covered? Is no one gonna get crapped on? Those are, like, the main priorities. Whether or not things match or even complement each other, not the biggest priorities, okay? It's definitely a more function over form type thing for the gentleman. So I was looking at this and I was like, wait, what's wrong with the baby so far? But we'll get into it. Shadow God, what do you say? I've already seen it. I figured you had cried at it. You just need to see it so we can do the shoe video with you. I watched the shoe video actually without having seen the anime, and I feel like I still appreciated it. Also, her name is pronounced Josie. Then they shouldn't spell it that way. Your garbage bag works. No, and honestly, that's probably better for feedings. All right, let's get into this. This one's a given. Open wipes. I'm not sure if she means that it's like a given for all men to leave wipes open or if it's a given for just her husband. Now, as I always say with partner shaming videos, the person being shamed usually has done something wrong. I'm never here to completely defend all shamed partners' behaviors. My main point is just, should this be our business? Is always the question. So I will say this, oof, don't leave the wipes open. My daughter has started getting into my makeup, and as a result, has started getting into my makeup wipes. Oh, it kills me every time she leaves it open. I keep having to talk to her about it. I'm like, girl, don't try out these makeup wipes, please. These are any type of wipes with a sealable cap are not cheap. They're not cheap. Can't do it, So obviously, yeah, I get it. We don't like that. Spatula with leftover butt paste. Gross. Okay, I'm not about to write home about this one. Oh, sorry, is the butt spatula not presentable enough? First of all, I didn't even know there were butt spatulas. Alright? I have entered motherhood through like 2 separate generations now, and I ain't never scooped a butt with no spatula. Nah, we're real men around here. We stick our finger in the butt paste and we get in there. Just fingers on. You're telling me you're too much of a sissy to properly put some ointment on your baby's butt with your bare hands? This generation is soft. I didn't think I would go instant boomer mode over a butt spatula, but nah, I'm not about to completely cancel a guy over this. What do we got next? I'd hate for him to throw this in the diaper genie within arm's reach. Bro must have been busy. Like, bro must have been in a hurry. Okay? This is annoying. This is gross. But also, I would like to rewind history back not too long ago, actually, to the 7 Diapers Mom. Do you guys remember 7 Diapers Mom? If I do end up editing this back, I will definitely end up like putting it in here. But 7 Diapers Mom was essentially a TikTok case where a woman was walking on her house saying, let's count the amount of diapers that I haven't cleaned up during my busy day. And she ends up counting 7 discarded wrapped up diapers like this. And initially she got tons of hate by people being like, Jesus, this is disgusting. Why did you post this thinking this would be relatable? But soon it was overtaken by men and women alike who had a lot more empathy, who had takes like, we shouldn't be shaming this mother. This is a mother who's doing her best. 7 diapers means, this 7 times that the baby was changed and taken care of by a mother. So what if they didn't quite make it in the end goal? Like, she's there, she's hands-on, she's doing it. And when a woman did this 7 times all over the house, she received a movement behind her, like an entire walk of people supporting her and saying, we've got you, babe, you shouldn't feel ashamed of this. What do you think their reaction was when a man did this one time? What do y'all think? Shadow God says, fair. I think seeing it just gives you an extra layer of seeing all the people saying things is ridiculous and stupid. It's also just a great movie. Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, I was already on Shu's side. It's like, you don't have to sell me, but I'm sure my husband would love more anime to watch together. Can't put that hanger up. That would be too hard. Alright, now we're getting nitpicky. I do this. Look, the end goal, of course, should be for the hanger to go back with the other hangers. But I cannot tell you the amount of times I've been getting ready both for myself and my daughter. And I can't explain the exact thought process of why leaving the hanger on the doorknob instead of like moving the clothes to put it back with the other hangers but like shaving off that extra 5 seconds feels like hours in the morning when you're getting ready. Does anybody else do that? Can anybody else attest to, like, you're gonna get it back in there eventually, okay? Maybe I'm just an incompetent wife. I don't think so, personally. I think I'm pretty cool. But yeah, sometimes you're just gonna like pop a hanger down somewhere else just in the moment. Am I crazy? Am I awful for this? Golems and Goblins says, do you ever think that there's any scenario where partner shaming is justified? If so, do you have an example? It's so difficult. It's so difficult. Because like I said, there have been a lot of partner shaming examples where I've been like, oh God, you suck for this. And I completely understand their rage and why like they might want to get a second opinion from the internet, especially if like you're telling them that it's not that bad. Like I can see why they might want to show you like, no, it's that bad. Like there have been times where I've felt like, oh, I kind of get this one, but I always stop and remind myself like, but is it really helping the situation? There are other ways to almost anonymously get input on your opinion, right? You can post privately to Reddit. You can post anonymously to forums to kind of gauge reactions. You could talk to an AI bot to kind of get an objective opinion. There's a lot of different opportunities. I also recommend having well-vetted friends that you can trust to be able to take your spouse's side in an argument. They won't just always take your side. If you can find friends like that, friends that you and your spouse can both trust, then that is invaluable. Therapists, things like that. The only time that I think that partner shaming is okay is if you're shaming a former partner, someone that you're already broken up with, someone in your past, and you're doing so in a way where you are not putting yourself at risk for being sued for libel, slander, or defamation. Does that make sense? That's your safety net. Couple others. Tracy says, I've been guilty of all of these complaints. That's what I'm saying. I don't think that a lot of these women who come online and like have these very type A complaints, like this isn't as perfect as I want it to be. Forget how many like type B, type C women there are too. Not that I'm saying you're a woman, actually. Just because your name is Tracy. I actually don't know, but it does apply to everyone. Shadow God says, also, I didn't name her. I just watched and enjoyed. Who hasn't left wipes open now and again? I'm pretty good about it just because like I'm a very like fiscal person. I can be pretty cheap. So I am like, we are not messing this up today. But I've probably done it for sure. This one is definitely not so egregious. And then he left the diaper genie open. Whole room will stink now. Awesome. All right, again, you're laying it on real thick, lady. Like, sometimes those things, like, you ever do the double tap on a diaper genie or even a garbage where it's supposed to latch close, but, like, I don't know, maybe you just had too much coffee or you just, like, shook your hand too much and you accidentally, like, when you think you're pushing it closed, but you're actually, like, tapping it open again, and so as you're turning around it's just like whoop, and secretly opening again on you. Like, I can't believe I have to explain these things as if this woman is completely perfect and never does these things ever. And then there's a pacifier on the floor. No worries, I'll get it. Oh, brother! Like, come on, like, if there's one thing that babies are completely famous for, it's for throwing on the ground. Oh my God. Hey, you guys ever meet a baby? You know what I'm talking about? Don't babies just love spitting their pacifiers out? And like, oh, brother. But I'll tell you this. I don't know if y'all picked up on it, those of you who are not audio only gang, who are visually looking around here, but we are actually entering ratio territory. If you look at what a ratio is, I always explain it because I don't expect people to just be as internet brained as me. A ratio is when there either are I think it's when there are more comments than likes. When there are more comments than likes, that is a ratio, and that is when you know you have fucked up. So we are in that kind of gray space where she is almost completely fucked up. As you can see here, or as I will be explaining to all the audio only gang, there are about 1,600 likes and almost 1,300 comments. So you can see we're getting there. Let's see what they say. Now her caption is, "We love Dada though," with a smiley face. Again, they love doing that. Like, this is what I rank up there on some of the classic female narcissist adjacent tool belts behavior is they'll do this thing called the giggle, which is where they're either doing something they absolutely shouldn't be, they're talking about something they absolutely shouldn't be, or they're trying to give an excuse for something that they've been caught doing, and they just kind of like giggle about it. Like they try to disarm you with just like innocent giggle, because if they do that, it kind of like steers the whole connotation of what's going on to being so much more lighthearted and like I'm just a girl, so it's not that serious when I do it. You know what I'm talking about. Just like the certain changes in your inflection. I believe in the past we've called it helium balloon voice. That's also when the voice gets really high, because that's how you know, like, I'm just a girl. How could I be that bad? That is how this caption is coded. Is I read this caption in the balloon voice followed by the giggle. She knows that she tried to put her man completely on blast here. She knows that she is honest to God dragging him publicly. But just in case he might actually get upset about it, we're gonna just gently cover it all up with this like, oh, but we love you though. But I love you, you know? It's kind of like I've heard girls do this after saying the most heinous shit. They'll be like, I mean, my ex was actually a better kisser, but like, I love you. I do love you though. Like, you can't just follow that up with that and think it's gonna be okay. See, to Jay, so glad to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute. Let's read these comments. I am so glad I don't feel the need to slam my husband on social media. God, I know he loves being at work. You must be a joy to be married to. Leave that king alone. So the first few comments, you're like, oh wow, like she's actually getting called out right now, which I have noticed there has been a shift in the cultural and social zeitgeist where people are a lot less tolerant of partner shaming now. Like they're starting to call it out a lot sooner. But if we keep scrolling, we do see that people are having the typical responses of like, yeah, your husband should go to jail. This woman says, or man, I don't know, Dusty Midwest Cozy says, yeah, my husband is an actual adult who cares about me, so he doesn't do this. Yeah, leaving the wipes open and the diaper genie open definitely means that he completely hates her. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. James says, so if I'm building a partner shamer class for D&D, what stats do I need to sink points into? Definitely not intelligence. Definitely not wisdom. It's really more of a charisma dump stat on that one. Like they're hoping they can just kind of sell you on their bullshit. And maybe some defense for the cope and desperate damage control they tend to do afterward. Some other comments. Something tells me no matter what he does, it won't be right. Defend in public, check in private. Partner shaming your partner on a public forum is taking the express lane to divorce. May this type of woman never find me. I do all of these things. I'd be so sad if my husband posted this about leaving one hanger out. But other people, again, not on the husband side, cute. You have 2 kids. Guys, don't be too harsh. She'll defend him just like all the others. Oh no, poor guy's gonna have a lifetime of nagging. Don't worry, only 17 years left until freedom for him. Not exactly. So as you can see, actually, this one, they started immediately calling her out. Okay? So I was curious to see if we would have any kind of like follow-ups or what else we would see from this character. But first, a super chat from Golems and Goblin. I once had a girl on the first freaking date use that giggle and voice as we were talking about our red flags. I really feel like I'm putting y'all onto something with this channel. I really do feel like we are educating around here. Cause now, like, I had a lot of women in my life who started putting me onto things early, and I was able to call it out right away. And I'm so grateful for them. You gotta pay attention to the signs. JJ, thank you for the generous 10. Says, it is kind of crazy that they will use the giggle or the voice to escape accountability. Also, love you and your content. Always a great day to see you post or are live. Thank you, JJ. Thank you. Golems and Goblin says that she used to be addicted to meth and still lived with her former dealer, who was also her ex. Naturally, there was no second date. Oh my god, I thought that was the end of it. I was not expecting part 2 to hit that hard. I thought it was just like, uh-oh, that's not a good sign that she starts using it. But then, like, she was copping to her own red flags. Like, some guys think that it's a red flag that I used to be addicted to meth and that I still currently live with my dealer. But, like, that's so judgmental, right? I swear, they think it works on everything, but we are becoming more diligent. All right. So, as I perused this woman's profile, kind of trying to get a vibe check for what else we have here, I realized this is one of those channels that's just kind of a partner shaming channel. Like, that's just what we do around here. So in this one, she has a picture of her and the guy himself, and there appears to be a quote over him that says, "You're not my mom." And she goes, "Yeah, okay." Then it flips to him again and says, "Does this match? What deodorant do I wear? What's for dinner? Will you rub my head? Is this how I start the washing machine? Have you seen my keys? I don't feel good. Will you bring me some medicine?" And the caption reads, "In other words, I'm wife and mom." Ugh. Oh, brother. I am so sick of this. This is something that is one of those poisons that I talk about a lot in society that really permeates throughout the kind of media that is being fed to women, and it just ruins marriages like right off the jump. It's something that really seeped into my own marriage and caused a lot of damage in the first couple of years, because I was hearing all of these things like, oh, men just want a mother, a maid, and a bang maid. That's all they want. They just want you to be their mommy. And it gets in your head because people will convince you that, like, basic marital requests like, "I'm sick, do you think you can help take care of me?" or "I'm missing something, have you seen it?" is equivalent to them being a child and wanting you to be their mommy. And a lot of people, they hear this. A lot of women are hearing this. So now every time that their husband or boyfriend asks them a very basic human to human thing, they're like, "Everyone online was right. Men really are our oppressors. I really will be mistreated my entire life that I'm with this person. Best not to leave. Best to just post a lot of passive aggressive things about them, shading them online." Like, I am begging you to understand that, like, throughout your marriage, you will ask for these things too. When you're sick, you're just like, "No, I got it. You go play golf." No, you're not. You've never asked your husband to help you look for things. You've never asked your husband for his opinion on something. You've never asked your husband what you guys should eat for dinner. Like, be so for real. That doesn't mean that he's trying to replace your father. It doesn't mean that you're some infantile baby child who's never grown up, does it? Or wait, by your own logic, that's exactly what that means. Anytime you ever ask for his input, you're just being a dumb little girl, and he's having to be in charge of you. Or does it only apply to men? Men are just never, ever, ever supposed to rely on their wives. They just serve. They're never supposed to ask for any help from their wives. Isn't that what you guys call toxic masculinity and you blame men for perpetuating, or just no accountability again today is what we're avoiding? I see. This is my surprised face. Samantha, thank you for the 5. Says, isn't that just basic common courtesy? I ask for my husband to bring me my pain meds when I don't feel well too. You're supposed to take care of each other. Yeah, in our house, honestly, if someone our rule is if someone has a cat or an animal on their lap, then they're allowed to ask you for you to bring them things. Like if my husband is covered in a cat, I'm not gonna make him get up while he's in paradise, while he's experiencing nirvana, while he's achieving dharma. I'm not about to stand in his way. What you need, babe? I'll go get you a water. Like, sometimes when I'm just too eepy, when I'm just too but then I'm like laying down, like just last night I was like, oh, I forgot to take my medicine, and he came and brought it to me. Oh no, I guess he's my dad now. I guess I'm just a childish little kid. Like, come on. Rob Hellfire, so good to see you, says, thanks for everything you do. Keep it up. I will try. I will try my best. Now, this one I believe was posted quite a bit earlier. It was posted like last year, so this is just like her Lotsie. This is just what she likes to do, is just shame her husband. So there weren't that many comments on this. People seemed to be taking it pretty well and laughing at it, which is probably why she didn't assume that we would all hate her the next time she did it. But I thought this was particularly interesting. But he lets you use the Amex, so I guess it's worth it. Why don't you have your own money if you're both his wife and mommy? It's not very typical for a wife and a mother to take her son's credit card and go on shopping sprees, is it? That doesn't seem very in line with what a wife and a mother would do for her son husband. Funny how that works. And yes, Shadow God, the new memberships are out. You don't see them yet? Samantha and Lacey were both able to subscribe, so try again. Colonel Arnold, thank you for the 5, says, I think I'm adding uses TikTok to my list of red flags for a potential partner. It seems all these are coming from TikTok. Well, I guess I'm a red flag then. Yeah, no. It's definitely not like just using TikTok. Everybody doom scrolls these days. You can't find it a red flag just because someone doom scrolls. But definitely pay attention to the kinds of content they post. For sure. People forget that their social medias are really their resumes for dating. And some people have like this weird entitlement to thinking like, well, they shouldn't judge me just off my posts. What? What world do you think you grew up in? So, like I said, I got a few of these videos here. I just wanted to follow up my last point about, typically if you're someone's wife and mom, you're also not 100% reliant on them for money. And yet, me explaining to my husband how I booked another trip for us.
Yeah, with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
So again, this is another version of the giggle. Now, some of you might be going, Lauren, come on, where's your sense of humor? This is a joke. This is obviously a joke. Why aren't you laughing at this joke? Here's why. It's not a joke. What's the punchline? Is the punchline, I don't know how to explain my financial infidelity to my husband? Is that the joke? That's my problem here. I understand jokes, okay? I did stand-up comedy for 10 years, okay? Did I become famous from it? No, but I tried. And I don't know if I tried to be famous necessarily, but I tried to succeed in it. Did a lot better at the YouTube game than actually going on stages. But in that time that I was practicing stand up, I also read a lot of books on comedy and what made all of these stand up comedians famous, what structures they followed throughout the 70s to now, things like that. I I can get a joke, but I can also recognize manipulation and when someone is trying to play off their own inappropriate behavior as just a joke. And that's what's happening here. A joke did not land. Silly excuses and I'm just a girl gaslighting is what happened here. I don't think financial infidelity is funny. I believe that financial infidelity is one of the worst things that you can do in a relationship and is oftentimes even more devastating than physical and emotional affairs because a physical and emotional affair won't take your house from you, won't end up with you getting foreclosed on. It won't end up, taking from the mouths of your children, like leaving them to not be able to have food. Okay? But finances are a very important thing for couples to be on the same page about. Okay, I really don't think that it's appropriate for people to just make very expensive executive decisions when it comes to finance. All right, if I'm going to book a vacation, my husband is with me every step of the way. Okay, has there ever really been a time that TJ has stopped me? He often makes jokes like, I can't stop that woman, but he says that because he trusts me, because he knows that I would never put us in a position where he doesn't know about major financial situations or where we're going to get screwed over later because we weren't making decisions together. You cannot make major financial decisions without your partner. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's how people have really ugly divorces. But we'll see what the comments say. This one didn't like pop off too hard or anything. She says, yeah, so like, just don't worry about me, okay? And then it's just women laughing. I noticed there's not a lot of husbands chiming in on here, like, ha ha ha, yeah, that is so funny when my wife does that. I noticed that I'm not seeing that on here. Let me catch up to some of your super chats. DJ Omnificent, good to see you too. I refuse to join TikTok. Too much brain rot. Don't worry, it's seeping into the other spaces as well. Yamato Coaching. Thank you for the 5. Says the bigger question is, at what point does a man cross the boundary of the wife acting as the mother? I'm confused by what you mean by that. Like at what point is he the one contributing to that dynamic which crosses a boundary? At what point do you think that she is I'm sorry, I'm swear this is not like me trying to goad you into sending another super chat. By all means, follow up with an email, lauren@dadvocate.net, if you don't want to give me more money, but I just don't understand what you meant by that. I'm sure the chat does, though. Tybrarian, thank you for the 5. Says, claims to have done stand-up for a decade, has no proof for her fans. Yeah, I don't know. Back in those days, we didn't, like, it wasn't, like, people didn't start filming for TikTok and stuff until I had already started settling down with my family and wasn't really doing it anymore. Like, the only time people filmed anything was like if you actually were filming for a special or something. Like, people weren't filming shorts of their stand-up back then, like everybody's doing now. Things might have been different for me if that was the case. Yeah, Phil is one of my best stalkers, so he has seen some. Sam says, Andrew says, unless it's a birthday or Christmas. Oh, like surprise vacations? I still disagree with Andrew on that. You're hiding that much money from your spouse successfully that they don't notice? How? I don't want to be married to a good liar. I don't. I love that I ask TJ something and he's just like immediately tells me every single thing, like even if it doesn't make him look great. Like, I don't want to marry a good liar, man. I need you to fess up. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't even know about the birthdays and if that's your rule, if that's within your marriage, if you told Andrew like you're allowed to take thousands out of our bank account if it's for a special holiday. That's between you guys. I'd be pissed. I'd be mad. All right, what's our next one that I got for you in the red flags dump? Our next red flag. Asked my husband how many likes to get me the new Lexus GX 550, and I didn't get the response I was expecting. He says, not applicable. 8 hours later, he responds this. Do I just divorce him or what? Again, if she thinks these are jokes, I'm sorry, but like, if she thinks these are jokes, like, don't quit your day job, honey. Do not quit your day job. TikTok is not going to be the platform for you. This is the most unfunny person. This is the kind of person who, like, unironically sent out chainmail. Who, like, unironically would send those things of, like, this is a chain, send to 10 people you know, or else the clown goblin will come out and stab out your brains from your eyeballs. Like, that's the kind of person that I know this individual was. Like, I hate this. How many likes to like, tell me you're a clout goblin without telling me you're a clout goblin. This is just clout goblinery behavior. And like, when has this ever worked? Like, I know that every once in a while you see those viral videos of like some extremely rich princess being like, I told my husband how many likes to get me an all expenses paid trip to so and so, and he said 9,000 and we hit it. Now I'm going there. Like, that's not real life, guys. Like, that's not how the internet works. Or like, when people tag you in that annoying shit of like, this person has 2 minutes to respond to my Facebook post or they owe me dinner. Like, I'm going to block you. I will literally block you. You are the most annoying person in all of your friend groups. I'm sorry if you guys are like sitting here and you're like, oh no, I tag my husband in that stuff. Yeah, stop. Stop doing that. You're fucking annoying. No one likes it. I might be getting a little like too hot for this right now, but I'm sorry if you are one of those, how many likes to get me this thing that I feel entitled to? I hate you. You're annoying. It's not funny. It's so dumb. Yamato Coaching says, at what point is the woman considered being too motherly toward the husband? Because to me, it sounds like we're putting a cap on her nurturing spirit. There's definitely a point. And actually, I will tell you, the exact point, it's hard to say. It's like, if you're literally to the point where you do not trust your man to do basic things for himself, then it's getting cringe. Like, if you are like, okay, since you haven't made your own dental appointment in 3 years, I went ahead and scheduled you an appointment. Or like, if you're setting his clothes out for him every day, like, if you're like trying to almost not even just like a micromanage, but once you start treating a man like he doesn't know how to take care of himself, that's the line. There's nurturing, there's like, here, like, I'm getting up to take my plate anyway, let me clear your plate for you. Like, general nurturing, that's not exactly motherhood. But then there's, no, you stay right there, honey, I'm gonna make your plate. Like, then it's kind of like, okay, Kendra Lakari, for example, when she would like cut that kid's steak for him, like, she was like presenting as motherly but like trying to be a wife. So like, there was like that weird overlap. You know what I'm saying? Am I ranting at this point? My ex-wife surprised me with the opportunity to move out that one time. Cool surprise vacation. Oh God, Jordan. Neo Mass says, pair character punching. Oh God, I always read these because it doesn't show it. Thank you for the emote. Thank you for the 3. Colonel Arnold, definition of daddy, I want a squirrel. How many likes to get me a squirrel? R.I.P. Peanut. R.I.P. So I've got a couple other ones, all right?
Can I give
I wanted to show you guys this one because this is her pinned video. Like pinned. 500,000 likes. It says, when your husband's love language is physical touch and yours is act of service, and he didn't take the trash out like you asked 1 minute ago.
can I give you a big hug?
No, thanks.
Now, a couple ways this could be interpreted, right? I will start with the most charitable way. There is a lot to be said for the fact that a lot of women just don't feel safe enough to open up to intercourse and intimacy if they do not feel that their needs are being met, that they're not being properly taken care of. Okay, this is why, I always tell men, make sure that you're emotionally supporting your woman so that she can feel safe opening up to you intimately, you know? But there is a lot of confusion and almost like this myth that if men do enough chores, they'll get laid more. And I think that's kind of like the fallacious point that's being made here is like she's almost suggesting that if he did take the trash out the exact minute that she asked, that she would be throwing it back like crazy. And I don't think that that's what's happening here. I think that when women make these kinds of jokes of like, haha, isn't it so funny when your husband thinks that he can actually be affectionate with you, but you actually have long-standing contempt and resentment for him, so you refuse? Haha. Again, where is the joke? I fear I am not understanding the punchline because the punchline seems to be there's kind of like two parts to this, which I do appreciate, is like she's kind of making fun of herself for demanding that the trash be taken out right away and having an over the top reaction when it's not. Kind of, but this goes back to the giggle. This goes back to like, well, it's okay that I continue behaving this way as long as I laugh at the fact that I behave this way. It's kind of like when women are just like, well, I'm just a bitch. That's just who I am. So you just got to get used to it. Or when people are constantly saying like outright insulting things to everyone around them, and then they just go, I don't know, this is just how I've always been, so you just got to get used to it. Well, no. Well, no, this looks like there's real intimacy issues in your relationship. Like, this is when I first started thinking, like, I think things are bad. I think there's trouble in paradise here, actually. I don't know if things are as healthy and as great as maybe you want us to think. So, this is about the part where we start getting into our final couple of red flags. So, chat, if you thought this couple was pretty cooked before, I fear that I only have worse news for you. Him, you're probably cheating. Why are you not responding? Me and my friends on girls' night. Turning the volume off. So audio only crew, what we have here is a video from girls' night. I will describe what everyone is wearing, and I will save the wife in question for last. They appear to be at, honestly, it looks like a courthouse, but I'm gonna assume it's a hotel. We have one girl who is wearing kind of like a stylish top. There's like one like flamboyant sleeve and then one that's not sleeved with like skin tight leather leggings or pleather. They could be pleather, but they're those kind of like hot pants that you hear about. The other girl is wearing a very similar style of pants. They're designed to be kind of shiny, definitely designed to like grip around the legs to flatter certain shapes. And then she is wearing a black tank top underneath. But wifey here might have kind of the more meant to attract outfit, but tell me if I'm wrong. To be fair, she is wearing a turtleneck, nothing really like sexy necessarily about that, but she is wearing a black leather mini skirt. We got the legs showing, and we got some thigh-high boots. And they are, oh, never mind, it's not a mini skirt, they're shorts, but they're short shorts. They are short. I mean, like, booty cheek hanging out type shorts. Not to say they're not allowed to wear these things in public. These are all things that I've definitely worn out with my husband. But this is what people are, like, talking about when they're like, girls' nights are a little sus. 'Cause, I don't know, man. Like, I am a woman, but maybe I just have different hobbies. I've never partaken in like a girls' night quite like this. When I go out with my girls, like we might go get dinner, we might go get coffee, like we might go hang out and do something nice together, but like I don't know, I'm way past like my clubbing years. I don't really feel the need to like get dolled up and like try to look super hot to go out to a place where I know that a bunch of single men are out looking for hot women to make moves on. It's just, I know that some people just like to dance. So I think that's where like I have a hard time understanding and like there's a disconnect. So I want to make clear like there are a lot of people who just like to dance. I have friends who go out clubbing like with their partners, without their partners, they just like to dance and like they swear they never do anything, you know? But then like why do you all have to go to a hotel room afterward? Why can't you just like take an Uber back to your man's place or like let him pick you up at the end of the night? I just don't understand this. Maybe someone can explain to me. Maybe I just like don't understand certain parts of girlhood. But especially the way that she showed this. Because it's like if you're so confident that you weren't doing anything wrong on girls' night, why would you present it like this? Like, did he actually ask you this? Like, is this you once again throwing him under the bus for, like, being insecure and, like, not trusting you, and this is your proof that, like, you actually weren't doing anything wrong, so how dare he? Or is the joke, like, when people say things like, oh, you're probably thinking about other girls, and then it's, like, me just thinking about, like, NASCAR or something? It's hard to tell because, again, this woman has a terrible sense of humor. Like she thinks that she's funny and she's not. So it's really hard to tell what her intentions are here. Also, everyone, congrats on upgrading your memberships. I will keep doing my best to make it worth y'all's while. With that music, she's trying to get a handsome Squidward. I know that. Did you notice I had to cut the music because I was like, oh, this is probably licensed. But look, I have one last red flag for you. Audio only crew, we have an image of this woman in her scrubs, and it says, "What are you going to do with your nursing degree?" If you know, you know. If you don't know, I'll explain it. But man, when I read that question, what are you going to do with your nursing degree? I just wanted to say the same thing we all do with our nursing degrees, Pinky. Be the most toxic kind of women we can. No, to explain my joke here, nurses do not have a great reputation. Look, my best friend is a nurse, and even she makes these kinds of jokes. I can't explain it, and it's definitely not applicable for everybody. So, like, nurses in the chat, don't be upset. But I know that you're still looking at being like, no, Lauren, it's true. You can pop off. Nurses have a particular reputation for cheating, being a bit disloyal, hooking up with each other. Nursing, you have to see it as like the same as a co-ed sport or like a theater troupe. I mean, you're mixing a lot of men and women together, often in high stress situations where they rely on each other and they're spending tons of time together. A lot of people fall for the bait. A lot of people take the temptation. Why are they so horrid? I hope that explains a little bit of like how they can be led to that area. But let's see what she says. How is she planning on using her nursing degree? Cry and get on Lexapro. Jordan said, what are you going to do with your nursing degree? A fireman, probably. Oh, man. So that has been this creator. That has been Miss Mackenzie Lynn Boyd, a partner shamer who seems to be very proud of shaming her partner. Does so very regularly, it seems, on her channel, but has not had the positive response that a lot of partner shamers have. Today's example is actually a really good example of the fact that people are starting to get put on to how unfun partner shaming really is. I think a lot of people really looked forward to these kinds of videos in the past, thinking that they were going to get this like instant gratification of seeing someone leave their terribly abusive spouse. But now that we've seen this pattern over and over and over again, we recognize this as simply being red flag behavior. And now we're starting to realize that if someone is willing to partner shame, especially if they're willing to do so over and over and over again, it's probably not their only toxic quality. And the better we start getting as a collective society, men and women alike, at recognizing this behavior, the more we're going to be able to start calling it out. The more people are not going to keep getting away with this. Like, we have this woman here desperately trying to achieve clout and fame and notoriety and this almost like martyrdom that other women have achieved online through partner shaming, and she's failing miserably. She's still not monetized. People are calling her out for exactly what she is. I almost feel sad about it if this isn't exactly what I wanted to happen when I started my partner shaming series 3 years ago. Like, this is kind of nice to see. It's kind of great. And it's kind of like, the only thing that I wish I could have is to be a fly on the wall for how her man feels about all of this. You know? I think a lot of guys, they just don't pay attention to what their wife is posting online. They just don't really care anymore. So they just let her do whatever. I think other guys, they know what she's doing, but they almost just don't want to pick a fight. So it's not worth it to them to argue about it. I'm curious what you guys would do if you saw any of these types of videos, from your wife making jokes online about not wanting to be intimate with you, to making jokes online about you being worried that she's cheating and having to disprove your spouse, to almost like just, what's the word I'm looking for? To nitpicking every single thing that you do wrong as a father, down to like the tiniest little speck of dust for everyone online to judge. How would you react to that? And if we reference this back to like the pickleball couple, for example, if you remember, this was a situation where a guy basically made a partner shaming video about his wife, really making it look as though she was way too excited to go play with another guy than was appropriate. And then he later had to do all this damage control explaining like he actually knew the guy, he was blowing it out of control, he shouldn't have made her look that way. And he seemed to be in a lot of trouble with his wife for posting that. I don't think he should be in trouble because she also agreed to post it because they have shared social media. So he clearly ran it by her and she was clearly fine with it. But when it didn't get the result they both wanted, she just blamed him. Either way, I'm starting to wonder if with there being more positive response for people who are being shamed and more negative response for shamers, if husbands are going to start kind of, I don't want to say like having consequences for their wives who do this kind of thing, but who are kind of starting to like push back against it. You know, if more husbands are going to start making videos like, hey, my wife had no business making that. Probably not, because it probably wouldn't have a very good effect on them, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious, you know? That's probably a big reason why more husbands don't speak out against it, though, because if a husband came online and was like, my wife shouldn't have made that video, people would probably just make fun of him. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious about your opinions. I'm going to catch up with some of your super chats here. Here's one from Shadow God. Lauren, it looks like honorary knights get access to the MO streams, which means that gifting memberships won't let them access them during them. Wait, like gifting memberships. Am I a moron? Okay, so the new tier gets access to the members only streams, correct? Oh, so okay. So gifting memberships only gives them access to the baseline memberships. I didn't know how gifting memberships works, if you could gift higher tiers of memberships, but that's fine. Let them just get a little taste. Let them get a little taste and decide for themselves if they want to join. That's fine. You're still being nice. You're still letting people use access to everything that's already there for them in the archives and the community tabs. All of the emotes, they're still getting stuff. Okay, that makes sense. They're just a based tier. Okay, now I understand. Yeah, there's a community message about it. I had to switch up tiers based on inflation, based on things like that. My Patreon, they made it to where there's literally no one's even making money off of like $3 tiers anymore. So I had to make it only $5. And I'm like, well, if Patreon's getting memberships for $5, it doesn't make sense that the lowest tier of YouTube would be getting same access paying less. So I felt that it was unfair to my patrons. So I changed things up a bit. There's a whole notice about it. But don't worry, as always, I will always make free content. So don't worry, you'll still get free stuff. Okay, yeah, Shadow God, I did eventually figure it out, I think. Gifting memberships won't let people access the members only live streams, at least during the stream. I think they might be able to watch it after. Yeah, because only $5 and up will get the unlisted links for members only streams. So $3 tiers, you get access to everything that's up and in the community tabs for that tier already. You get access to emotes. But no, they won't be able to watch any new ones unless they upgrade. No big deal. Okay. I think we figured this out. Thanks, gang. So, all right, that's been that on our little deep dive on that partner shamer. How many red flags total would you say that you counted amongst all of that? Would you say that I was pretty accurate in kind of saying, like, this is a little bit suspicious, this is a little bit suspicious? Or do you think I was actually being way too harsh? Do you think that she is actually not being as bad as I'm saying and, like, I took things way too far? Let me know your opinions on that one. The partner shamer of many red flags. I got some other stuff for you. I do. I think we'll be live for roughly another hour before I start making some other stuff to film for you guys. Let me see what I got. And yeah, like Shadow God said, if you want the members only lives, you'll have to upgrade your YouTube tier to honorary knight, but you still get some cool stuff. All right, what do I want to cover next with you guys? We have covered the Disney, or not Disney, the theme of the stream. So I was reading the word Disney. Okay, here's what I want to cover with you guys. So, have you guys ever heard of Disney dads? Let me know if you've heard of this term. It's typically the term Disney dad is used offensively. You wouldn't think so. It sounds like a dad who's amazing, but it has a negative connotation. When people refer to a Disney dad, they're referring to dads who only show up to be the fun dad, to be the cool dad, to take the kids on cool trips, but he's not actually involved in doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, parent-teacher conferences, helping with homework, dealing with the hard emotional talks, child rearing. Like, a Disney dad is called that because he only shows up for like the Disney trips, not for actual parenting. It's definitely meant to be an insult. Annoyingly, it gets overused, kind of like the word narcissist and things like that, where the same moms who fight the dad on having equal shared custody and relegate him to only having every other weekend will use those terms for him. They'll be like, well, he's only around for the fun stuff. He's just a Disney dad. And it's kind of like, well, you only gave him weekends. What do you expect him to do? Push-ups? Like, he can't book any medical appointments. The kid's probably done with homework at that point. Like, he only has 2 days a week. There's, if that, 4 days a month. You're kind of forced into the Disney dad role. But then there's also the flip side of that coin, which is DILFs of Disneyland. This is an entire Instagram account and an entire phenomenon where there are accounts that their whole imperative is to photograph men with their children at Disney who happen to be hot. They're almost like fetishizing men in their primal fatherhood state. And they're like, God, that's so hot. Watch these men be DILFs at Disney. It's a bizarre conundrum, a bizarre dichotomy that on one hand, Disney dads are seen as like almost deadbeats. And on the other hand, when they're in that role, they're uplifted and praised as almost the highest tier of dads, which might also be why people hate Disney dads so much. Shadow God says Disney has become incompetent. Yeah, there are a lot of issues with Disney, of course. But that was all one big rant to get into this situation, which is that there is now a third type of Disney dad. One who is not just one who shows up every other weekend and wants to be fun. Not just one who is almost creepily photographed by other women there, which will be relevant later. But the third category of Disney dads, which is apparently dads who go to Disney to get drunk and start harassing the princesses in front of their wives and kids. And as good dadvocates, I think we need to address this. This says, most memorable. I'm gonna give them the due credit that they deserve and I'm gonna do them a favor and reread this the way they meant it. Most memorable part of Disneyland was being told that Ariel isn't allowed out in the park without a big, strong Sebastian bodyguard whose secret job is to protect her from handsy dads. Oh, that's depressing. But you know what's even more depressing is what we continue to learn in the comment section. This is why they had to get rid of Esmeralda as a meet and greet character. Dads kept putting their hands on her in front of their own wives and kids. It legit got dangerous for her to be around at the parks. I've always felt bad for Tinkerbell. I hear she got the worst creeps of all. Now, there's going to be a few in here where a lot of women at this point started coming out and telling their own experiences at Disney, which absolutely should never be discounted. I myself have friends who did have the, astounding opportunity to work for the Disney parks. Though I'll let you in on a little secret, them princesses ain't paid shit. They're paid basically minimum wage. I think it's $20 an hour, which in some places might sound great, but for everything they have to do, you would think that would be a little bit more, but nah, they ain't paid shit. Anyway, yeah, I have heard straight from these women that this is a phenomenon that occurs, and I do believe it. I mean, even when I was just working as a waitress at Red Robin or why did I forget the name of it? Bob Evans. Yeah, when I just worked as a waitress at Red Robin and Bob Evans, people would still try to cop a feel on me, and I was wearing Dickies. It's not like those restaurants are Hooters or something where we're wearing revealing clothing. They were polos and Dickies work pants, for Christ's sake. So I absolutely believe that is happening. That said, do you want to know who else are not meet and greet characters anymore? Gaston and Tarzan. You want to know why? Because drunk moms can be just as disgusting. Okay, this is not me trying to turn this into a who's worse thing. This is one of those times where there's no gender war. This should just be something that we should be able to agree on, is sexually harassing anyone at their job is bad, okay? But there is even footage online. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to smack my microphone while I said that, but there's even footage online. I think I can get it I think I can get it pulled up right now. Let me get this for you guys. I didn't even have this on the itinerary. It's just that easy to pull up. I mean, check this out. Girl harasses Gaston and he rightfully forces her to leave. For the audio only gang, this woman approaches the character of Gaston, who, if you don't know, is supposed to be this grandiose hunk of man meat in the story of the Beauty and the Beast. He's supposed to be this big buff alpha Chad, but the joke is that he's dumb as rocks. So of course they are gonna get a Magic Mike looking chiseled dude to play Gaston, but that doesn't mean that you have the right to walk up to him and grope his pecs, which is exactly what that woman did. Not once, not twice. She attempted to grab those man steaks 3 separate times. And you can see this guy looking so deeply uncomfortable and trying to stay in character. And because of that, because he is not allowed to break character and ruin the magic of the park, she is also not understanding the gravity of the situation. She's like, oh, haha, he's just being in character. He's just pretending to be offended that I'm groping his body as a perfect stranger without consent. This is almost the crazy part, is in a way, it's almost worse. Heavy on the almost. I'm not actually going to assert that claim. It's almost worse when the women do it to the male characters because they have not been so heavily socialized to understand the consequences of doing that. Men, they all saw Me Too come and go. We watched Aziz Ansari lose his entire career together for no reason. Like, many of them have not fully stopped being degenerate. We all know this. We can all agree on that together. There will always be degenerate men for all time, just as there will always be degenerate women. But I think the consequences of that kind of behavior have really been hammered away in men's heads. And how do we know that? Because we're constantly seeing videos of women being like, where are all the good guys? Why aren't guys approaching women anymore? Why don't guys talk to women anymore? Because men have come to understand that it's not really a great idea to bother women in any way unless they themselves have laid out a gigantic waving green flag that says, you are allowed to talk to me. Not only that, I encourage you to talk to me. Even allowed is like, still not gonna risk it. Like, women are the ones who have to kind of set the precedent for whether or not a man should feel comfortable enough approaching. Like, we're kind of the ones who have to lay that gauntlet down at this point. But I say all of this and I showcase the fact that, you know, it's terrible and disgusting and gross for any man, especially a father and a husband in front of his family, to be inappropriately touching these lovely young women at their jobs. It is disgusting for these grown women, these wives and mothers in front of their families, to be manhandling other grown men in front of them. It's disgusting both ways, and that's why it's important when we cover other comments on stuff like this that say things like, where was it? Wait. Did these comments just refresh? How did I lose this? Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong comment section. I was like, this is not the comment I meant to show you. Okay. Going back to where we were. I just wanted to bring all of that up because we also see comments on here like this. I don't understand why we do everything but ban grown men from going near actresses. This is where we start to get really extreme takes, because there's a lot that I have to say about that particular comment. We agree it's gross when men do that, just as we agree we should be able to agree it's gross when women do that. I don't think the answer is ban all men from being allowed to go anywhere near women. That's ridiculous, because first of all, if we are going to set that standard, we have to be consistent. Women have clearly proven themselves to not be trustworthy around male actors. So are we now doing this like conservative Christian middle school dance rule of like 8 feet apart, all opposite sexes? And like, let's keep going with that. How do you know that women who are allowed to be around the female actresses aren't degenerate lesbians? Not saying all lesbians are degenerate. Don't derive that from what I said. Degenerate lesbians. There are lesbians, there are degenerate lesbians, right? How do you know that there's not going to be a lesbian who assaults the female actress? How many people do we just start banning from doing anything because everyone's capable of performing gross actions? Like, at what point do we draw the line? And like, my next point when it comes to, well, we have to ban women from, or we have to ban men from being allowed around female actresses. A lot of female actresses actually even like that attention. Should we bring up Pedro Pascal again? Like, I've covered in an entire stream, one of the members only live streams that everyone who got gifted lower tier memberships today still has access to, by the way, where we talked about Pedro Pascal and the whole Pedro Pascal phenomenon. And my final take on what's going on with how he is physically around his co-stars is a lot of people are mad at the wrong person. I personally don't understand what's wrong with Pedro Pascal being physically affectionate with women who completely consent to him being physically affectionate with them. Pedro Pascal is a single man. If a bunch of other people's wives are 100% okay with him getting within inches of their face intimately during appearances on the red carpet, why is it his responsibility to make these wives stay loyal? Why are we not mad at all of these female actresses who owe their husbands loyalty, who are like getting down and dirty with some single guy? I think, of course, that that's a completely separate situation. But that's also the situation that we're affecting when we have these like sweeping blanket laws of like no men around women. What about the autonomous women who like do want to be around men though? Like it is sad because it's like I'm not about to spend my career fighting for the rights of Disney adults to get to take a picture with Ariel, but like I am going to keep fighting for men's rights. And most men are good men who will take a wholesome, normal photo with Ariel and any woman without it being a problem. And so those men who just want to have regular Disney experiences with their family don't deserve to be cast as the worst, most disgusting kind of person in society because some men can't behave themselves. What do you guys think about this? Do you guys think that there actually is kind of a serious issue with this to the point that maybe men should start being treated differently when it comes to photo ops with young, lesser clothed actresses? Do you think the same boundaries should apply to women, just in case? Or do you think that we should just give everyone equal opportunities to f up or not, and only really punish the people who f up and not ruin it for everyone else and make every single other person wear the mantle of the crimes of someone who looks like them? I'm curious to hear your opinions here. Agreed, even if they are Disney adults. That's how you know I'm a real woman for the people here, is I'll even defend the Disney adult men. Even y'all, except for the degenerate ones. Shadow God says, how the news treated female teachers doing things to male students and male teachers doing things to female students showcases how there is a massive inequality to how people see the two sexes. Oh my god. That's a topic that I have, like, people have asked me to cover over and over again, but it's, like, difficult for me to do because I get so triggered and actually upset by it. Jordan Peterson says, okay, boys, we gotta go police our own. I'll drive, get in the truck. That's what I love about you guys, is you get it. You know, despite what people accuse me of being a pick-me who only shits on women and defends men no matter what they do, like, you know that this is a place where, like, we're not here to defend all men. We definitely hold the men accountable who need to be, right? And I say a lot, though. I do believe that my job as a woman is to hold other women accountable because men can't. But it's also men's job to hold each other accountable, and I think you guys are happy to do that. Will Honorless says, think we just call those assholes. There's a simpler term, actually. Oh yeah, and we also did a whole live stream on the T app. Don't worry about that. Colonel Arnold says, so you would... I'm assuming there's supposed to be another word there. I'll figure it out. So you'd every guy just have an auto-restraining order set on them for every female actress. What if you're married to one? Yeah, that's what these people are asking for. Man. Yeah, I thought that one was interesting though. I wanted to show that one to you guys just because I think it's an interesting conversation and I think it's one that we are allowed to have in a nuanced way. Like a lot of times when people bring things up like this and they're like, men are disgusting because they're copping feels on Ariel. A lot of creators have a hard time covering the nuance. As some people would just retaliate and be like, yeah, you're gonna insult all men. Well, women do it. You're bad. And it's like, I think we're allowed to like call it both bad. I think it's definitely possible, actually. All right. What else do I got for you? I have some Reddit for you. Can we do some Reddit? Let's do some Reddit with our last little half hour. I'm gonna change out my battery really quick, but I'm just gonna do that right now. I'm not actually gonna take a break. We're not even going nowhere, so don't even leave. I'm just switching it out here. I actually did not drink 5,000 mugs of coffee today, so I actually don't have to pee a million times. We're growing. We are improving. All right. No, it's gone. All right. I was gonna go over one with you guys. I can kind of give you the gist of it though, but I'm sad because it had it had texts, and I love reviewing texts with you guys. But I didn't take screenshots this time. A lot of times when I want to cover a Reddit story and I feel like it might get deleted, I screenshot it, but I didn't. This one, though, was a who do you think is in the wrong? So, a girl and a guy, they match on Tinder. I can still explain the story to you. These two, they match on Tinder, right? And they start texting, trying to plan their first interaction, essentially. And he says, I really want to meet you, but just so you know, I'm not going to take you on a date. He says, for our first interaction, I don't want to do a date. I would just rather do something a lot more casual, like coffee, going for a walk, something like that. She says, okay, but like that's rubbing me the wrong way. She's like, you're not gonna take me on a date. And he goes, no, I think a date is more appropriate for like second or third. You know, this can still be our first hangout, but it's not going to be a date until we get to know each other. And she was like horrified by this. She was like, what makes you think that you're ever going to get this date talking to people like that? So she posted to, am I overreacting? Because she kind of told him off. She kind of was like, you're never going to get a girlfriend like this. Like, have your high standards or whatever, but like, this is embarrassing for you. And he was like, all right, like, bye. So she was like, am I overreacting by telling this guy off for telling me that he doesn't want to take me on a date? I'm on her side. I'm on her side. And the thing is, I would have been on his side if he didn't phrase it like such a goddamn idiot. Dude, here's the thing. More and more men are holding off on the expensive $100, $200, sit down at a restaurant, order the wine, order drinks, have an appetizer, date until they get to know a woman more. And what's becoming a lot more popular is the coffee date. I personally love a coffee date for many reasons. It's very non-committal. It's a very good introductory starting ground. It's the kind of thing where like you're not going to be that mad if like it doesn't get split 50-50 because it's only like $3. If the vibes aren't there, if you start feeling uncomfortable, You can just get up and leave. You don't have to like wait for a check or anything because you already paid. In my opinion, there's so many reasons to do things that are low cost, if even on the free end, as a first date, as opposed to the first. But that's just me as someone who is very understanding of men's positions. A woman who frequently, if not most often, doesn't have to pay for a first date, of course is going to want the princess treatment for her first date. Of course she's going to be like, ew, you're cheap, right? Like, there's going to be a lot more women who would rather have that than the cheaper date if they could choose. But I think a lot more women are open-minded to that when you phrase it well. When you're still being a gentleman, when you're still showing her some baseline level of respect and decency. You could have phrased that as, I'm so excited to meet you. I'm so excited to get to know you. If it's okay with you, I'd like to keep this low pressure for both of us and have kind of like a shorter, easier first date. You can still call it a date. I don't know why he's so averse to calling it a date. Like, to me, that would just sound like you're trying to friend zone me. Like, really make sure I stay in my lane, in like my friend zone box. I would assume it's not happening at that point. So honestly, I think she did the right thing with him. I do. I think she did the right thing of calling him out and being like, you're not going to get a date if you keep phrasing it this way. Because I think she was completely on the nose about that. I think she was completely right. I think he was shooting himself in the foot. I met my man on a coffee date, Shiny Luna says. It lasted 4 hours. It was awesome. Yeah, me and TJ's first date, like, we did just go and get ice cream, which is also up there in like the coffee date realm. Like, still good. Still, like, you're paying ahead of time. You can leave anytime. We got some ice cream and then we walked around his old college campus. And same, yeah, it was like hours and hours and hours. It was awesome. People gotta be more open-minded. Yeah, someone says it's all about the sales pitch. Yes. But Colonel Arnold actually disagrees. Colonel Arnold says, I don't know, Lauren. It sounds like he dodged a gold digger. If there was more context to, like, her saying, no, I want a real date at a restaurant, I think then it might have felt like more gold digging. But I've also said this before. I don't believe in the myth of gold diggers who are just trying to get free food. I know that it has happened. I know that there are women out there who are like, I only went on this date for the free meal. Like, some people say that, I guess. I think it's a very small amount of the population. Like, I think that a real gold digger is, it, like, that might be their starting line, but I don't think I have enough evidence yet to know for sure. I think that to her biggest issue is that he was like trying to put her in her place right away. Because to me, there wasn't even any like, she wasn't even doing the usual thing of, oh, so you're too cheap to buy me a proper meal. Her biggest issue was like, why are you so opposed to a real date? Like, what, why is that so bad? But I see where you're coming from. Sounds like a hungry woman. That's me. I'm always trying to eat, but we could just go to a food truck. It doesn't got to be that serious. We can still eat, and it doesn't have to be that committed. Oh man, okay, wait. We gotta go over this one. This one threw me off big time. This next one that I'm gonna show you. Listen, you guys know me. I am very opposed to just blanket single mother hatred. I think that single mothers unfairly get so much hate online, like way more than single dads do. I feel like single dads online have a way better reputation and get way less hate than single moms. But like, there is just something about online culture where single mom is just immediately used as an insult. I don't like that. I don't think that's fair. I think that there are plenty of reasons a person can become a single parent. That doesn't automatically mean they're toxic. That doesn't automatically mean that clearly it's their fault. Like, some people truly do get tricked by covert narcissists. Some people are told by their spouse, I love you, I'll be with you forever, let's make a baby. And then the second they do, that spouse leaves them for a woman like less than twice her age and just dips out and never talks to her again. Like, some people really do just get screwed over. And if you can have that kind of compassion for a single dad, I don't understand what's getting in the way of having that kind of compassion for a single mother. So I just want to start off by saying, God, I hate single mother hatred. If you don't want to date a single mother, that's fine. That's totally different than hating a single mother. There are all kinds of people that I don't want to date because I'm Chad widowed by my husband. I don't hate all of you, like, clearly, you know what I mean? But you don't have to have such like blatant hatred for single mothers, right? That all said, some of y'all single mothers are doing too much, and you are not doing the reputation of single mothers a service. Some of you guys really think that just because you made a kid that you deserve like absolutely every treasure and luxury in the world, that men need to just be like bowing at your feet because you're a mother now. And like, some of y'all also are like way too quick to call men toxic because they don't want to date you as a single mother. Some of you guys are putting the most ridiculous stuff in your bio. Some of you guys are like, don't go on a date with me unless you're planning on getting to-go meals for every single one of my kids. And it's just doing the most. Like, come on, single mothers are really fighting for respect right now. Like, we really do not need you guys coming in and ruining it. So I'm going to show you guys something real quick. Let me read a couple super chats. Shadow God says, okay, if you want to be treated like a princess, then earn it. I'll treat everyone nicely, at least until they prove that they don't deserve it. Everyone gets baseline respect, but yeah, you really do got to earn the princess treatment. That's true. Fleeting Infinity, so good to see you. Where are you paying $3 for good coffee? Okay, that's fair. Like, I've said on my last live, I don't go out for coffee, you guys. We have a coffee bar in our house, and I did the math. I pay about like 49 cents a cup for my coffee, and I love it. Starbucks. This is once again a carousel. We have a woman with a massive chest tattoo. For what it's worth mentioning. She is like otherwise like, sorry, you guys know I'm not like a big tattoo person. Sorry, like that, to me, the chest tattoo is not doing any favors for like what I find attractive. But I shouldn't be putting my biases out here. Some of you guys, the chest piece is like double the points for attractiveness. But she's very pretty. And it says, when he's interested and says he doesn't mind if I have a kid. When we click to the next image, we see holy, and there's 2 daughters, freaking 3 sons, airball. And in total, we have, wait, wow, okay, there's more than I thought. 4 sons, 2 daughters, 1 baby. And let me tell you, I know that you can't completely discount the fact or like the possibility that someone could be racist just because they associate with like people of different races, but like, I really don't think you can call this woman racist because she, I think, has successfully procreated with every ethnicity under the sun. She truly was like trying to defeat the white supremacist agenda single-handedly. She was like, let's get as many different cultures under one roof as possible. But not only that, I could be wrong, but I think she's already about to become a grandmother. I believe one of her daughters is pregnant already, it seems. So, ma'am, I'm sorry, but advertising yourself as just a single mother might not be specific enough. I'm assuming she's keeping it real vague on these dating platforms, and she's just like, single mother. So these guys are like, I mean, it's okay if you have a kid. Now that leaves us with one final question. Does this make her undateable? Is this enough to make her completely undateable? Let's assess this. Let's be charitable now. We've got most of them, I would say, are close to like aging out, becoming adult children. So you at least wouldn't have to worry about like childhood care of that many kids. This is definitely a lot different than raising 7 children under 18. But that might not be the case. We might have 17, 16. Maybe a couple of these are twins. I don't think identical, but fraternal. You know, for all we know, every single baby daddy is involved. You wouldn't have to necessarily pick up on any money. Or maybe she's making so much in child support that, like, you might actually make money off of this relationship. I doubt it. This looks like an expensive situation. Me personally, I've got to, you know, if I was, you know, single and dating, if I'm thinking about dating her, or if this was a man in a similar situation who happened to have 7 kids, that's a bit too much for me. Nah. Not only is that too much for me, but I would really resent if you kept that from me and let me keep talking to you without telling me that right away. I would resent the fact that you did not make that very obvious right away. I couldn't do it. I would be friends with this person. I would stay friends with them. You know, I don't know how often we would hang out, right? But like, if I ever need a babysitter for my kids, that would be a good friend to have because they got a lot of youth to employ, it appears, you know? Let me read some of your super chats already. Let's see. All right, we left off with Math Gamma. Widows automatically getting the same stigma sucks. Yeah, I agree. And that's the thing. In this situation, what if she was a widow? What if by chance, and it's possible, one father she was expecting to spend the whole rest of her life with him has become a widow? For me, this might sound mean, it still wouldn't change the situation. Maybe it would. Oh man. Okay, you know what? Maybe it would. For me, the reason that would change the situation for me is because that many baby daddies or baby mamas would be a deal breaker for me because it tells me that you haven't really learned your lesson. It tells me that you're chronically irresponsible. Sorry, that would be the judgment that I would make from that, and I'm allowed to have my own boundaries as a hypothetical dating person here. That would be a bit too much for me, but honestly, if I really liked someone and they were a widow or a widower with that many kids, this would be my one thing. They would have to have the situation financially under control and not have to rely on me for anything. If they have the situation financially under control, let's say they had one baby daddy and he left her a shit ton in life insurance, and she's good, she's sat raising these kids. You know what? If you're not relying on me financially, I do like kids. You know what? I would do it. As long as I don't have to financially take over for these kids, because that's my big issue, is I'm thinking of it from a very, like, fiscally responsible standpoint. I know I would not be able to support 7 kids. If I could financially support 7 kids, I would be having 7 kids right now. I would be pregnant as we speak, and then pregnant immediately after. Like, if I had the funds to get, like, a huge-ass house, I'd be whipping them things out, dude. Like, but that's a bit much. Let me see what else you guys were saying in the super chats. JCL. This is too much, but I'm going to call you JCL. Thank you for the 2 says Coochie without Frontier. That's so funny. Fleeting Infinity says gotta catch them all. She's just trying to complete the Pokédex, guys. She's just a completionist, that's all. Samantha says, is there a way to find out if she fosters? That's a good point, but also, like, terribly irresponsible to foster alone, I think. I'm sorry, but, like, I'm surprised they let you do that. Because I want to be optimistic and think that she might have this, like, parental superpower to be able to handle all that completely on her own, but, like, 2 people would be a lot better. Maybe she has a huge family that helps out a lot, and that's also being left out here. Jordan Peterson says, a kid? Yes. 2 kids? Okay. An entire basketball team? That's a no from me, dog. It appears there's a pattern here. Will Hunterless says, she's not so much undateable, but I'd feel like she's adding me to the collection. She's just got, like, whatever Angelina Jolie has that makes her, like, addicted to having multiple babies. She says, head of household with a bicep. Okay, so I'm assuming this is her bragging about not being with any of these kids' dads, because head of household is typically what single moms like to brag about, because there's really nothing else to claim when you're filing like that. Oh boy, it looks like she's had a couple of responses. So, to this, she's replying to a comment that reads, men disappearing from their families for years and never being seen as the problem. So she's got some violin music, kind of trying to add to, like, see? Don't you see that that's the real problem? We're very close to being ratioed on this one, so I'm assuming the comments didn't go well for her last time either. Let me check that out really quick, and then we'll come back here, because we didn't even go through the comments on that last one. What did the comments say? They're rough, chat. They're rough. Everyone just point and laugh. And one of her daughters is already pregnant. That cycle is never breaking. Now, kids, what do we say when we meet a nice man? Are you my daddy? Oh, no. The pregnant daughter is the saddest part. She says, we aren't sad about it, so you shouldn't be either. Said a kid, not a whole litter. Everyone that's waiting on clarification, gather here. OP is liking all of these. I'm not sure why. Single grandmother, this is getting into new territory. Ran through. Again, she's even liking that one, so I don't... One for each continent. Priorities were never prioritized. She's just laughing. Like, this is just hee hee ha ha for her. She even liked the meme of throwing a hot dog down a hallway. Her big rebuttal to that is, if you can't bowl, just say that. She seems like the type of mom who thinks that having all of these different kids is actually just a flex of how hot she is. Lord have mercy, used 2004 Lexus, 421,000 miles. Just an image of a bunch of people giving the side eye. Samantha doesn't judge. Oh God, that's nasty, y'all. Maybe adding images to TikTok was a mistake. So now going back to this little update. This comment is fair. Hey, so two things can be true at once. And I agree. I think that's actually like the comment for this situation is it can be true that it is disgusting when a man lays down with a woman, spills his seed, and then refuses to take up for his end of the responsibility. I do not advocate for those men, okay? I think that if you lay down in bed enough to impregnate a woman, you have responsibilities just like she now has responsibilities to figure out what to do with that kid, okay? It's only fair. That said, a man can be disgusting for for abandoning his family, and a woman can be completely irresponsible and foolish for never learning proper birth control and continuing to lay down with man after man with whom she is clearly not vetting. These things can be true. Like, how did we keep getting in this situation? Like, if the man abandoned you, like, did you keep having his babies whenever he did come around? Like, I'm gonna need more of a situation here, because she's trying to act like the victim, but is not giving us enough context to understand anything else. Oh God, so she's responding to this comment that says, Chamber of No Secrets.
Best comment. I've come to the conclusion that y'all that are like super mean and upset and angry about my family are either white dudes that are like upset that a white woman had babies with a black man. Like, a lot of racism showing through here.
That literally, if there was so many comments of people being racist and the big issue being that your kids are not all white, why wouldn't you use one of those comments to respond to? If there's so many of them. I don't doubt that there were some. The internet is full of racists. We know this. But, like, I don't think that's people's main issue here, and this is such a deflection straw man that everybody loves to use as soon as they start getting dragged online, is that what is the fallacy for when they take one very extreme and radical unpopular argument being used against them and pretend as though that's the main argument against all of the very fair, reasonable criticisms people are making. It's the same way that someone will start getting dragged online for having a terrible opinion or mindset or behavior, and then they'll go, okay, I know that I hurt people and I said awful things and I did terrible things, but now I'm getting death threats. So I'm the real victim. Like, you can't just do that. Like, you can't just be like, okay, I posted something with very little context that made me look completely irresponsible and probably like a bad influence on my kids, but some of you are racist, so that means that I'm actually 100% in the right and doing absolutely nothing wrong and you're the bad guys. Like, now come on. Someone said nose ring spotted. Alert, alert. Thank you, Colonel Arnold. I thought that one was okay, though. I thought it was just the bull ring that was bad. I don't know. You guys might have to tell me if I'm wrong.
Or people that know damn well they couldn't support a family my size on their own.
Oh, brother. So now she's trying to use you're just jealous that you don't have the money to raise 7 kids without a dad. Like, I appreciate the stretch. I mean, even the Fantastic Four, I think, would be impressed by that level of stretching, quite frankly. But I don't think that's what's going on here. Like, you understand, like, she's trying to act like getting pregnant 7 times by men who don't want to stick around is like an Olympian level, high skill, extremely difficult thing to do, like something you have to like spend your whole life training for, like something you have to like study the deep lores and histories to truly understand. I'm sorry, but all you have to do is just get fucked over and over and over again. And don't get me wrong, the actual like giving childbirth part ends up being difficult, but like not in the same way that like earning a PhD is difficult. Like you just put yourself in a situation where like now you have to deal with that. Like now you have to do that. Like if I swallow a bag of marbles, I'm probably going to need surgery to remove those marbles. It's going to be very difficult to recover from that surgery. But at the same time, I don't get to brag about how hard it was to deal with the aftermath of eating a bag of marbles. Why did I keep eating marbles? Why did I not stop at 1 or 2 marbles? I think that's the point that people are trying to make here.
No, I don't get welfare, disability. I'm not on Section 8. Or people that are lonely because I have like a big happy family. I don't know, but it's weird, y'all. The hate is like very weird. I was just happy about my family photos. That was it. So, anyways.
You know that's not what the problem was, ma'am. Because people very clearly in the comments explained what the actual problem was. If all you did was post that family photo with the caption, like, full arms, full heart, like, it's a big family, but I'd have it no other way, you might still get, like, a few shit people in the comments who are like, but where's the dad, though? Like, people judging you for that. Like, very likely, actually. Because, like I said, single moms do get a lot of hate on the internet. It's very aggravating. But people's biggest issue is that you seem to be misleading potential romantic partners. That's the issue. It's kind of like when men post to their dating profile, like, entrepreneur as their job, and then you get to know them and they're actually just unemployed. Like, it's very misleading, and it's not fair to people to like waste their time on you if they don't know fully what they're signing up for. That's what people are upset about, is you seem to be almost catfishing your romantic partners by not telling them the gravity of your single mom status. Like, there's so many elements that make it worse, that make like the single mom scale, sliding scale, spectrum so much worse. Like, at your most tolerable, you have single mom of 1 child from 1 father. Then you get 2 children from 1 father, almost just as tolerable. At 3 children from 1 father, a lot of people will think that's a little bit too much from them, because 3 kids is more than a lot of people ever plan for to begin with. But then once you start even, like, then you take 3 kids from 2 fathers, and it's even more difficult to deal with, because now this is like a consistent, like, bad habit. Now you're really not able to make relationships work. Like, what is going on? Because there seems to be a common denominator. But the more you add, like, 4 kids, 2 dads, 4 kids, 3 dads, 5 kids, 4 dads, it gets worse. Like, I'm sorry, it does get worse. And there's a there's more reason to be judgmental and to tell people that they're out of line for making stronger judgments as we go down that spectrum is just unrealistic. Like, you're just being delusional at that point if you honestly think that people don't have a right to judge as we go down that. They're going to. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Sargewood says, to be fair, I wouldn't put my actual job on my dating profile for safety reasons. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Have you guys seen what's going on with that cancel the hate? Is anybody who says anything bad is like getting listed with their whole job on there? I disagree with people like celebrating any kind of death, but I also disagree with that. I thought that we were supposed to be against doxing and against cancel culture. Like, let's grow up. But that's just me. She had another video I wanted to go, actually. Let's see. I think I might... Oh, geez. And she says, just thinking about the number of times I was called mud shark in my viral post. I fear I already know what it means. A derogatory and offensive racial slur to describe a white woman who has sexual relationships with black men. Jesus Christ. Like, God, I don't think it was right for her to mislead people, but everyone coming for her this hard is extremely unhinged. I mean, good Lord, I think teen pregnancy is pretty tragic. I think babies are blessings, and I think it's beautiful when people help those young women get through that and take care of her child. Like, it is what it is, but, you know, of course it's best to stay positive and happy about the incoming baby, but it is still tragic because we should be educating young women a lot better and young men. And I think that people are right to point to the scariness of that cycle continuing of just, like, single mother after single mother. It's just not good. But, like, yeah, people being this hateful and nasty is so unnecessary. That's really gross. Jordan says, Shiny Luna, that's for Durex. Those leak more than the Titanic. Oh, yeah, because Shiny says, just a reminder that condoms are $1. Jordan Peterson here, trying to subtly imply he has some kind of Mondo dick. Calm down, Jordan. Come on down. Mr. Four Loco over here just busting the latex left and right. Jordan over here is half those kids' dads. Now this one, it's like she's responding to comments but refusing to give any further clarity. When you post a family photo and it blows up because of negativity and insults, and it's someone just crying saying, that's 7 different baby daddies. And she's acting like incredulous, but like, is it not? I mean, you're not denying the allegations, though. I feel like if it wasn't 7 different baby daddies, you could just say that. I wasn't even assuming it was 7 different baby daddies, because that did seem like the more extreme end on the sliding scale, but it is. I am going to be extremely charitable here because even though I don't like the way that she chose to present herself on certain dating profiles, if she truly did try to hide the fact that she has 7 kids, I don't think she deserves this much hate. I do think people deserve to chill. I don't think that she deserves some kind of like social death sentence because of her choices. But if it is true that all 7 of those kids are indeed from 7 different fathers, and that none of those fathers are involved, you're undateable. I'm gonna have to call it. You are completely undateable. You will have to prove me wrong by not only like getting someone to wife you up, but like I'm gonna need to see at least 10 years of a marriage before I can call it. No, honestly, let me retract, because I just said undateable, not unwifeable. If she can get one person to date her consistently for 12 months, if it is true that she has 7 different baby daddies, if she doesn't have 7 different baby daddies, like I said, I think she's back down to the more dateable. I really think that she was just messing with us, or she just wants to keep us on edge. And that if it's like 2 or 3 baby daddies, I still think she's somewhere in the dateable market. There are some guys who are going to be like, you know what, whatever, I'll do it. But 7 baby daddies, that's undateable. I'm sorry. We gotta call it. And this is not a gender thing. If you're a dude and you have 7 baby mamas, dude, I'm sorry. As a dude, I might be judging even harsher. Maybe. I'm not. It'll be the same, I think. Because I remember I did have a friend who dated a guy with 5 different baby daddies, and I was like, that's an undateable man. No, you gotta break up with him now. She's like, no, I'm different. I'm like, you're not. And I hated to say that, because this particular woman that I'm talking about is one of the most freakishly attractive and talented women I've ever met. I'm talking like, not a bad photo of her exists. She doesn't do anything cosmetic. She was just born freakishly good looking with an insane bombshell body and is good at everything she does. So that's the last person I would ever say, like, you're just like everyone else. But by 5 baby mamas, honey, you're not going to be any different. And they did break up because it was his fault. Undoubtedly. I'm sorry. You have 5 baby mamas. It's your fault. If you have 7 baby daddies, yeah, it's your fault. I'm sorry. I have to make that assumption. Do you guys think I'm wrong for that? Do you guys think that this might be the time where Dadvocate finally took it too far, was finally way too judgmental? You can't just say someone's undateable because they have 7 baby mamas or 7 baby daddies. Do you think I'm wrong, or do you think I am cooking and absolutely based right now? I don't think I'm wrong. I gotta call it. Shadow God says, and thank you for all these generous donos, by the way. Very, very kind. Says, yes, doxing is wrong, but their employers deserve to know what kind of people they hire. I do agree. I agree. If you know the employer, you call the employer yourself as one individual. You do not need to create an entire website where you incite a mob, because now you're destroying that business, filling up their emails and phones with nonsense that doesn't need to be reported more than once. That's how I feel. But let me finish your sentence. Especially the people that said Erica should be next. Yeah, absolutely. And that one degenerate that said the kids too. Oh yeah. I'm 100% okay with them being fired. Absolutely. If you say shit like that about anybody, you have every right to be fired from your job. Every employer has the right to can your ass. But we don't need to like bother the employers. They had no clue that the person they hired was going to do that shit. Oh man, yeah, let me read some of your other ones. If you want to know the name of this TikToker, just to kind of like keep tabs and check like the dating world here, see if we ever get out of this little pickle we're in, it's Please Forgive Me, Mama Tried. Username checks out. Username checks out on that one. There we go. Put that back in its format. Well, all right. I think that's about all I have got for you for today's live. I'm starving. I gotta eat. I gotta eat something. My belly's hungry. But we got about 5 more minutes that I'm going to keep my eye on the chat, so you don't have to worry about super chatting anymore. I'm paying attention to the comments for these last ones. Any final thoughts, final questions, things like that. Seems a lot of you do agree. At 7 baby daddies, you're undateable. At 7 kids, I still think you're dateable, but 7 baby daddies is just too much. That's crazy. Punslinger says, I don't think she merely tried. I think she succeeded beyond measure. I think she might. Have you ever heard the term mama tried? It's like they basically mean like, I'm a wreck, but my mama tried raising me. I don't think she meant like, I'm trying to be a mama. Because, yeah, she definitely. You're fertile, honey. Don't need to do any further testing. Semen works on you. It surely works. All right, what's for food? I think I'm gonna take TJ's leftover shawarma because it's been like 3 days and he hasn't eaten it. Is that, I should text him, shouldn't I? I'll text him. Usually for me, if like 3 or 4 days has passed and you haven't eaten it, like I get dibs. Because what, like, for me, I finally got to that point with TJ because I'll be like, day 1, are you gonna eat this? Yeah, I'm gonna eat this. Day 2, you gonna eat this? Yeah, I'm gonna eat this. And then he waits and it's not even good anymore, so now neither of us get to eat it. So that's like that's where I'm like, we have to have a rule where if you don't eat it after like 2 or 3 days, like I get to eat it. But I should text. Can I eat the rest of your Dearborn? There. I asked permission, gang. I'm not getting canceled. I agree, Tybrarian, though. It is free game after a few days. Because otherwise it's just going to go to waste. Alright? I ain't letting no shawarma go to waste. Not on my watch. Alright? Trey Post says, one of my coworkers had a roommate that was dating a guy with 7 kids by 6 baby mamas. She was convinced she could fix him. After a kid, nope. Baby mama number 9. Oh my God. You know what's especially terrible about that too is in most counties and in most states, there actually ends up being a cap on child support after so many kids. And I believe it's 5. So after 5 kids, like you just will never get as much child support as the other moms, basically. Like they get prioritized at that point, to the point that I think in some areas even they won't even order child support after 6 kids. And at that point I'm torn because the kids did nothing wrong. The kids deserve some kind of financial support from both parents because they didn't get to choose their parents. But you can't draw blood from a stone. You know what I mean? If there's no money left, you can't collect the money. Like at a certain point, if you order the same child support formula that many times, there's nothing, like that person literally cannot live. So they had to create cuts and cutoffs after a certain ethical standpoint. And I think that might be the right choice because let's be completely honest. If you, as a woman, choose to recklessly open up with no birth control to a man who already has 5 baby mamas, that's a bit on you. That's a bit on you at that point. If you choose to bring a child into that situation, it's a bit on you. I do think the men still have to pay something, but it's just not as much as the other moms, the ones who got there first, get to collect. It's crazy. Oh, man. Shiny said Laura in the chat. You missed James' chat. Okay, was there a super chat or... Yes, I did. Wait. What? The last super chat I see is Shadow Gods? Was there one before that? I got... What? Who's James? Who sent something that I missed? I guess I'll scroll through. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Hold on. Where is a James? I'm scrolling. Still scrolling. Okay, still looking. I'm like really trying not to miss it here. Oh, James said, sorry you missed my super chat a while back. Okay, my bad. I've been doing pretty good keeping up with them. Let me see if I can still find it even. They do go away after a while. I don't know what it was if you want to retype that. Sorry about that. James Talley. Okay, Shadow God says, since we're talking about it, it's been a week since he passed. It still feels unreal. He did spark a spiritual awakening across the world. It's been a week. Shit's been crazy. I do want to talk on something in regards to that. Not to like cause more infighting or anything, but isn't it rubbing people the wrong way how many people jumped to start making Charlie Kirk merch? And I'm definitely paying attention to who's doing it. And it's not rubbing me the right way. Now, I will say I'm also the same one who tends to have a laissez-faire view of how the economy should work. Like, supply what's demanded, right? If people want Charlie Kirk merch, who am I to stand in the way of people and platforms that people already like creating it for them? Maybe I should back off on being judgmental on that. It's just, it seemed like the second he died, people were already like jumping to profit off of it. And I'm also incredibly suspicious of the like 20-some-year-old girl behind the Cancel the Hate website who's also trying to grift off of this. I'm sorry, it's a grift. To me, I'm calling it out right now. The cancelthehate.com is entirely a grift. This girl is like plastering her face all over it. Like she wants to go down in history for being associated with this. She wants notoriety. She wants clout. But most importantly, she wants your money. She's barely done anything with the website. It's an incredibly lazy HTML bare bones site that is doing absolutely nothing right, has no legal safety nets, is going to get a lot of people in trouble or hurt with like no forethought. And all she wants to do is for you to send her donations to her. There are so many people grifting off of this dude's death. It's sick. And I hate to say it, I'm not even a fan of the guy. I didn't like him while he was alive. Not to speak ill of the dead, I still don't think that he deserved what happened to him. But it's so tacky and gross the way that everyone is trying to make a buck off this, dude. We gotta really be discerning with what we pay attention to in these next coming days and weeks, because it's like, I understand everybody wanting to like have their say on it. I'm not judging everyone who made a short response as like trying to grift and like get clout off of this, but I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention to people who have made YouTube video after YouTube video like every single day since, especially the ones who like popped off and usually don't do that good. So now they were like, oh, my Charlie Kirk video did so good, I'm gonna just stay on that. Like, I'm watching. It's a little sus to me. Colonel Arnold says, easy solution to this, stop doing deadbeats. Now again, some people don't know. There are genuinely some people who had no idea that their boyfriend was even a dad. How are you supposed to know? There's not really like a registry. You can do a full background check on someone. It's not necessarily going to tell you if they're a dad. So, if you know, don't do it. Shadow God said also had a super chat about Nintendo sucking. Sorry I didn't catch all of these, but thank you for the donos. Lauren, are you on live chat or top chat? Live. I use a program called Restream, so it shows me all of the chats between all of the 3 different platforms I stream on. But I do miss some sometimes. Devon says, quick backstory. Found you in like 2022. Had you in my watch later till this year. One of the greatest people I've had the honor of watching, Mrs. Dadvocate. My birthday is in 2 days' time. Oh shit, happy birthday, Devon. That's so cool that you got back to me though. Also, I gotta check around and see if James reposted his. Thank you for the 10 though, James. He said just a little joke about her reaching house free levels of kids. Dang, I think I did see that and then I meant to read it, but I unfortunately don't even get the joke. I don't know what house free is from, so I would have just been reading it on... Oh, it's from Game of Thrones. Never mind, I do know what it's from. I just don't remember all of the names of the houses. I didn't read the books. That might have helped. Brittany, thank you. Says much respect and blessings to you and your fam. Thank you. All right. Is there anything else that I desperately need to catch up on? Anything I missed before I go? Should we fight for a deadbeat dad checklist? I think a lot of moms would be behind you on that, but only if we can do a deadbeat mom checklist too. Turd Ferguson, if you didn't like Kirk, you're gonna hate what's about to happen as a result of his death. I already hate it. Everybody is being so freaking hypocritical on both sides. You know what? I said I wasn't gonna talk. Mods, don't worry. It's just gonna be my normal nuanced stuff, which some people hate when I get nuanced because they want me to pick a side, but I don't care. I'm not bending the knee. I'm gonna stay nuanced. This is just so fucking annoying to me because people on the left are like, gun violence bad, gun violence bad. Then this happened and they're like, woo, we had to do it. We had to show them how bad they were. You just said. And then the right is like, cancel culture bad, cancel culture bad. You can't just beat people up because they have an opinion you don't like. But then when people walked through the candlelight vigil and said, Charlie Kirk sucks, what did you do? You beat their ass. So you can't... The thing you were supposed to do is escort them off legally, which is what you say we're supposed to do. You're not supposed... Do you see why that's ironic? Same thing with, like, the people on the right are like, we hate cancel culture, which, like, I originally agreed with both of you guys on those things. I was like, yes, like, gun violence bad. Yes, cancel culture bad. And now you're both disappointing me because y'all are cheering for the guns and y'all are cheering for cancel culture. What the f*** happened? Come on. You guys were supposed to stand for something, not flip up and switch sides. I'm disappointed in all of you. Okay? I'm disappointed in everyone right now. It's just freaking sad on all sides, man. But that's all I've got to say on that. I'm not going to get too into it. Feels like, oh God. But honestly, if you can't agree with what I just said, then stay mad, quite frankly. If you can't agree that both sides are being incredibly hypocritical right now, then you need to stop drinking whatever Kool-Aid you're drinking, because this should be something that we should all be able to agree on. All right? Oh, man. Let me just make sure the chat didn't get too crazy. The guy who got beat up had an illegal firearm and drugs on him? Well, that's terrible. We still can't take vigilante action. Or else everybody can take vigilante action, can't they? Right? See, the intellectual consistency is what bothers me. Is like, if we're gonna have an opinion, keep that. Keep it. But it's this rules for me, but not for thee bullshit or rules for thee, but not for me. That's so annoying. We gotta stay consistent, you know? And I do agree, leadership in this country should be trying to turn down the temperature. I agree. And I empathize with people who are like, how are we supposed to turn down the temperature when they turned it up? But it's like, the hard part about that is like, everybody's saying that about both sides. So someone has to start. Someone's gotta chill. Excuse me. I'll take one for the team. I'll chill. Listen, I agree, Terror Darkness. Getting people fired for cheering deaths is not hypocritical. Cancel culture is hypocritical. Getting a mob to all do the same thing and gang up on people is hypocritical. There is nothing wrong with you seeing someone cheer on a death, you going to their profile, seeing where they work, and you calling their place of employment and asking to speak to their manager. There is something much more insidious about making an entire website where you are putting their face and entirely identifying information that could get them hurt up for the unhinged mobs of the internet to set their sights on. How, like, that's completely different. Totally different. But again, that's just me being nuanced again. My bad. All right, I said I was going to go eat my husband's sandwich. Do I have permission? Damn it. Oh, he said yes, my love. Good. All right, I have my husband's permission to eat his sandwich. That's all I need in this world. You guys are about to get an early access video I'm about to drop. It's not going to be right after because I forgot to design the thumbnail, but you'll get it. Thumbnail coming. Those of you who have the $5 and up tier on my YouTube memberships and Patreon, just come right on back. You'll get another video in a minute here, and I'm going to keep them coming. All right, I'm heading out of here. You guys have been awesome, and I will see you guys in the next one.